Yo, what up you guys, MxgicIQ here. Today we're going to be doing an S13 with the stock motor in it, so you guys won't have to motor swap this one, which means if you guys are playing the game quote unquote legit, you guys won't have to deal with the fact that you don't have enough premium credits to unlock this build. You might have to grind obviously a little bit. As you see, we have a few ultimate parts here, but these can easily be swapped out for racing parts and just turn the power up as much as possible. As long as you get somewhere around 400, even 380 feels pretty good on most of the sections we were using it on, which is the rooftop track, Sakia, and Oywarf. So I highly recommend you guys check this out. Let's get straight into it. So as you guys can see here, we're using our racing big turbo kit. Everything else is ultimate, and when we go to the upgrades, we have everything turned up for turbine pressure, rev limiter, and peak RPM. We have the torque at high at 262 and torque at medium at 294. Torque at low is all the way maxed out, and that power curve looks beautiful. Our numbers are 402 horsepower, and we're running 1145 for the weight. So if you guys get somewhere around that power to weight ratio, you guys should have no problem throwing this thing around just as we are right now. Honestly, it's a little gripped up, so if you guys want to run a less grippy setup when you get to the tires, we will explain how to do that. For the transmission, we are running the T50 because it's a little bit lighter than the T50 S13. We're using the ultimate clutch here. We're using a Vicious 60, and we're using a sport gearbox. Don't even have to do any crazy gearbox tuning for this. This car feels amazing how it sits. I'm using the Vicious 60 turned up to 93.3299999%. As you guys do know, I do like to use that for the grip settings. Obviously, our gear shifting speed is as quick as possible. The only difference here is if you throw an ultimate gearbox in, you would be able to get less transmission loss. So if you guys want to tune the gears for this, feel free, but I think this is absolutely perfect with the sport gearbox. I was using it for a budget build and then turned it up, and I just haven't changed it since. Really love it. Honestly, it's a perfect gear ratio for me. For the car weight reduction, we're leaving the stock body, but we're going ultimate weight reduction here with a maxed out fuel tank though to kind of offset that a little bit. We've actually added weight to this car with the weight reduction kit that we got. So we're at 1145 with the weight distribution all the way towards the rear to get as much grip as possible, and also to get the balance a little bit more towards the rear because I felt like the car was over rotating and I kind of wanted a little bit more grip out of it too. So I put the weight towards the rear. If you guys wanted to go ahead and get that 50-50 weight distribution back, it does feel pretty good like that too, but the car felt a little bit too light on the wheel, and I like how this feels a lot more. As you guys see, our center of mass is 14.4 plus 1, so you guys can go ahead and adjust these accordingly. You guys can also just feel free to screenshot and keep skipping forward. Honestly, it's completely up to you. I just like to explain everything in case some people want to listen and build the car as we go along. So what I'm running right now is ultimate front suspension arms. Front stabilizer is stock, but what I've done recently is I've switched to no stabilizer in the rear. Right now I obviously had it on stock, but you guys can adjust accordingly how you feel is best for you. But personally, I've been liking no stabilizer. I was just running stabilizer for Sakia, but honestly, it's completely up to you. I've been running no stabilizer in the rear of my cars recently a lot, and I've been really liking it. Stock brake system as always. We also have racing rear suspension arms here and elite front spring springs and rear springs. So that'll save you a little bit of premium credits to put towards the motor too, so you guys can actually really afford this build without having to do unlimited money. Or if you're lucky enough to be a streamer like myself and you have an amazing community that'll help you, then you might be able to get a little bit of money in premium credits as well, as I have not installed anything, but a lot of people that have installed stuff have helped me. So if you guys want to, just go ahead and screenshot this. I won't bother explaining every single suspension setup, although it is pretty straightforward because, like I said, we leave the dampers and the stabilizers usually stock or remove the stabilizer in the rear altogether. So you guys can go ahead and take a look at that. Screenshot everything here. The car feels absolutely amazing as set up currently. Added a little bit of negative toe in the front and it just feels like butter. Really like this thing. At first I had no toe in the front and then a little bit out in the rear, but kind of like it how it is now. It's a lot more consistent. For the spacers, I have all ultimate here just to be able to get that fitment nice how we like it. Nice and flush, nothing too crazy, and the way the car tucks underneath when it is under load and squatting looks very clean as well. No clipping going on here. We got two 35s in the front and we got two 55s in the rear. If you wanted a little bit less grip, you could easily go down to a 235 or a 245 in the rear, but I like a little bit of grip when I'm specifically chasing with this car. I use this car for chasing a lot, and the car I'm posting tomorrow I use more or less for when I'm leading. You guys are probably like, why you have two different cars for that? Just so it's a little bit more simple. I like a little bit of a cleaner, less aggressive style build when I'm trying to do a lead run. Obviously when it comes to comp I want something in a balance, but when I'm in open lobbies I like to use a clean, nice power band with simple, smooth steering, not too fast, not too slow when I'm leading. Now when I'm chasing I like something a little bit more aggressive, but can still lead if it wants to, and that's what we're getting done here with this vehicle. Really like how this thing feels. Minus 10 in the front, minus 5 in the rear, so both of our sidewall profile is 30 on front and rear. 235, 255, 30, 17s are our tire setups there. Grip ratio on the front is 1.04% and 1.05 in the rear, with 10 offset in the front and 0 offset in the rear. As you guys see, our tire pressure here though is 2.2 in the rear and 2.4 bar in the front. You guys can adjust this accordingly for more or less grip as well. Less grip would be extending that to about 3 bar in the rear, and more grip would be obviously lowering that to somewhere around 1.8, 1.7 bar, depending on what you prefer. I really like this thing, so I hope you guys enjoy it too. It's been MxgicIQ. I'll see you guys in the next one, and without further ado, man, I'm out. Peace.